Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. Welcome to another episode of the 49 Invincibles podcast. I just realized I messed up the intro just because it's everything Arsenal these days. I moved the everything football to a different channel. I'll leave the link in the description for you guys to subscribe, but no problem. I have two guests with me as always. Okay, co-host Zahum, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the game tomorrow, man. Big game.
Yeah,
Absolutely awesome. And Albert back again on the show. Last time out was very, very good. I think it was like a month ago. How have you been?
well, no, I'm good, man. Good to reunite with my brothers, man. School, man. It's all good.
Awesome, man. Let's go. So we're going to be talking a little about Sergio Aguero's links to Arsenal and, of course, about the game tomorrow. Nice late Saturday kickoff. So let's get started. So I'll start with you, Zuhum. What have you made of Aguero's links to Arsenal? There's also, obviously, we're expecting him to maybe move somewhere to Argentina or Brazil or to Spain, but he's worked with Arteta before. Is there any chance of that happening?
I hope not. I mean, I don't think that's going to be a good decision for us. We're building a project and we need to stick by it and not be, not make an impulse purchase because it's available. Like if we had gotten a 29-year-old Martin Odegaard in January on loan, that still would have been a concern because how much effort are they putting or how much are they backing the project? But Aguero, no matter how good he was, or even currently is,
Yeah.
I still don't think that would be a good signing, especially when you consider he would essentially be an upgrade on Lacazette, who is 30 years old. So it's like getting an older player to upgrade on a not so old player in Lacazette who's 30. So 34, 30. I don't know, man. I want to see us get a young striker with a lot of potential that Arteta can mold into the kind of striker that we need. I'm not happy about the Aguero links, and I hope they're not true.
Wow, okay. And how about you, Albert? Sergio Aguero, better than Lacazette. In terms of goals, definitely. In terms of staying fit, I'm not sure. Albert, Aguero joining us now?
Nah, man. No. I agree with my fellow brother, man. No chance. This link happened a few years ago, actually. When we still had Sanchez, but that was never going to happen then. I mean, why? Aguero's record at Man City is incredible. I think the only issue you've got, for me, the biggest issue is even forget the Lacazette thing. Just his injury record over the last sort of 3-4 years. Aguero has been really bad, man. As good a striker as he is, you can't get him fit, man. So you know what? Because it's April, because it's the beginning of April, maybe it's a belated April Fool's joke. Because I'll see someone put in the chat because I don't want this to happen, man. We need to move forward. We can't have another 30-plus-year-old person at Arsenal, eating up big wages when, one, they're past their best, and two, they're injury prone. So you cannot have that combination at the football club. Not at all.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you guys. Because yesterday, some people are talking about Aguero joining Arsenal, and they're actually happy about it. I'm not sure about it. Yes, he looks good in the red. He kind of looks good in the red. Let's be honest. That doesn't look that bad. But I don't know. The thing I'd say about him, he's really tortured us while at City. Like he scored 11 goals in like 18 or 19 games. So definitely wouldn't want him at Arsenal. So Zohum, obviously you made the point, put the point clear that you wouldn't sign him. But let's say they say 1 year, Champions League next season for us, 80,000 a week. Would you do it?
No.
I mean, even like Albert said, even if we do sign him, yes, of course he would be an upgrade on Lacazette. If we do create chances for him, he'd finish. But when is he ever going to be on the pitch to finish those chances? I mean, the fitness issues are too big, and you just can't ignore them. They're too much of a concern for us to even take a chance on him. When we sign someone like Willian, right? Willian has been consistent with fitness for a very, very long time for Chelsea, and he's been available more often than not for Arsenal. So that's a bit more justifiable. But Aguero, I mean, it's just bad business, and it's such a huge risk, especially considering we'd be spending big money, like
Yeah.
Albert said. We'd be
Again.
spending big money on his final contract that he'd want to finish. So yeah, I don't. No, please no.
Okay, Albert, how about you? 80,000 a week. Maybe Guardiola and Arteta agree on something, and then Aguero also agrees to be paid 80,000 a week. You still wouldn't take him?
Glenn, I think you already know my answer before you even finish the question, man. No. Get Edward in from Celtic, man. That's what I want. That's who I want.
Yeah,
That's my
that
number
makes
one target.
Okay, so the guys have made it clear that it's a definite no. So the next thing on Aguero is, obviously I've seen you guys been part of debates about where Aguero ranks in terms of best strikers ever in the Premier League. So there is Thierry Henry, there is Wayne Rooney, there is Alan Shearer, obviously Didier Drogba, and Sergio Aguero, and a few more. So Albert, amongst those 5 or 7 strikers, where does Aguero rank for you? Or who would be your top 3 in order?
God. Well, no. Well, I'm sorry. It's not even being biased, man. You can't. I can't ignore Shearer. Shearer was a lethal striker, man. Seriously, that guy was a seriously good striker for club and country. I don't know about order, but obviously Henry, Shearer, with Drogba, what I will give him plaudits for, and I wouldn't attribute this to his Premier League record, but for a guy who turned up on he's recording scoring cup finals is insane. I've not seen that in any striker in world football in my lifetime. I mean, it's an incredible record, but yeah, you can't go. You've got to be Henry, Shearer, and Aguero. Not necessarily in that order, because you could argue that to the cows coming, but for me, those 3 stand out straight away, easily.
Henry, Shearer, and Aguero. So who are your top 3?
I actually recorded just this week. I recorded an episode on another channel for the all-time top 10 strikers, and Aguero came in at number 4, ahead of Premier League.
Yeah,
In terms of the Premier League, Aguero came in number 4, ahead of Drogba, actually, because like Albert said, Drogba is, I think is it 10 out of 10 goals in 10 finals, or 11 goals in 11 finals. That's mad. But Drogba, for example, he had 2 seasons where he only scored 5 goals, and one of them was the season that they won the Champions League. But Aguero, at the very least, what he had was consistency over a very long period. And the thing is, yes, he did. I believe he got a lot of his hat tricks in games where they won 6-1, 5-0, those kind of games. But at the end of the day, he did score a lot of important goals in big games. And at the very least, he scored 15 and above every single season. So he's been so consistent. And just based on the eye test, the fabled eye test in football, he was very much a 1-in-1 kind of chance striker. He didn't waste too many, except penalties. But overall, I think I rated him number 4 out of my top 10. And the only guys ahead of them really are Rooney, Shearer, Henry, for different reasons. But at the very least, because of his Premier Leagues and overall performances, I put him number 4. There is a question mark over him, though, right? I mean, he was only ever top scorer once, and he was never a player of the season. So it kind of so it kind of points towards his goals coming in high scoring games for the club, and a few here and there in terms of the big games. So Aguero 4, and then obviously you have to give him that because 93-34, is that the number? So I mean that special day, the most dramatic, one of the most dramatic, because we also have a dramatic winner as well in 1989 over Liverpool. So I'm gonna go with Aguero for 4. Yeah. Albert, of course you're gonna say that.
No, I know that. No, I was going to say, sorry, Glenn, that argument, like, don't get me wrong, the Aguero moment, getting a winning goal against QPR, but nothing beats 89, man, to go to Liverpool and win 2-0.
Yeah, in terms of being the biggest result, because they are facing QPR, you can't compare QPR and Liverpool, but the way it happened for them, their first ever league title, they scored the second goal in the 92nd minute as well. The assist coming from Balotelli, you can't make these things up. So I think it actually makes me cry, even if you watch it right now. Exactly. You see why? So I not enjoy the Arsenal one more, but the one for
Mm.
what City think it's definitely up. They're definitely the best Premier League in the Premier League era, obviously, because the
Yeah,
Arsenal one
of
wasn't
course. Yeah,
Premier
yeah,
League.
fair enough. Yeah.
So for Shearer, I really love Shearer because he got those goals for Blackburn and Newcastle, teams that weren't that good. Obviously, those days Newcastle was fighting for top three, top two, but Blackburn, sorry, and then Newcastle, and he was at Newcastle, they weren't that good, but he still scores those goals. But penalties, the Huminal, but penalties. That guy scored around almost 60 penalties out of the 260 goals.
Wow.
That's why I usually
Yeah.
don't put him up there. So he actually said that he doesn't care. He didn't care whether he has 5 goals or 6 goals. He'd still want to take the next penalty to get the 7th goal of the game. That's
Yeah.
who he is. But the likes of Henry, Rooney, classic goals. How many classic goals do you have for Rooney in the top 10? Maybe 3 or 4. Same with Henry. Maybe same with Aguero in terms of scoring hat tricks and scoring against big teams. So Aguero, Henry, and Rooney for me definitely up there. And then Shearer comes fourth, even though he's the best
Fair,
striker. So yeah,
but Glenn, to be fair to
yeah.
Alan Shearer, he was not only the second highest ever Golden Boots winner with
Mm-hmm.
3. Henri has 4. He's the highest. Aguero only has 1. Alan
Mm-hmm.
Shearer had 3. And in
Yeah.
one of those seasons, he was not only the Golden Boots winner, but also the player of the season. So he held that kind of importance. And I think that's why he's in my top 3, because he was playing for Blackburn, Newcastle. Aguero had the likes of David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne creating all the chances. He had world
Mm.
class
Good
players
point.
around him,
Good point.
regardless of
Yeah.
whether, yeah. So Alan Shearer, I just don't want to take away from his from his record, because despite, yeah, of course there's penalties and whatnot, but at the end of the day you have to put them in the back of the net. We've seen so many
Yeah.
great players. Just recently, you saw Messi missed a crucial penalty in that round of 16 Champions League game with PSG. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So great players, just because they score penalties, doesn't make it any more any easier. And
Yeah.
that's why, for me, I think when you consider as well the kinds of goals that Alan Shearer scored, it wasn't just like
Oh,
penalties. He
yeah.
also had bangers. You know, like all
It's a good
kinds of
point.
long yard screams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go and watch Shearer's like Premier League 100 goals, man. You'd be like, wow. Like, if for those who never
Yeah.
got the chance to see him play regularly, trust me, the guy was a serious, formidable striker, man.
Mm. So
Yeah.
that's essentially why I had him at number 2, because I'm just going with the Golden Boots award, which
Yeah,
simplifies the discussion to that award, because it's not a matter of who's the best player in which team. I mean, Alan Shearer and Henry were the best strikers in the league, and at the same time they were the best strikers in the league. They were also the most important players in their team
yeah.
at the time. So that's why I always put Alan Shearer ahead of Aguero. Aguero wasn't the most important player in City at any point.
No, fair point.
Okay. Do you take the fact that he's not from England into consideration?
That should make a difference. Not
Because
Yeah.
really.
I'm being
Okay, go ahead, Albert.
No, I'm saying, no, no, just I don't think that make a difference because Henri wasn't Henri wasn't from England, so yeah, I don't think that plays a part in it. It is weird though with Aguero though that he has never won.
okay. Not from Europe. Let me change it.
Yeah,
Not from Europe.
yeah.
He's
So
from far away.
I'm not sure if that has a big factor, to be honest, Glenn and Zahu. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that has a big factor personally.
Last
Yeah,
question
well,
on
I mean,
Aguero.
okay, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Okay, last question on Aguero.
Well,
I was going to ask, what's his best attribute about it that you've enjoyed most in the 10 years?
so for
Started
me,
with
Yeah,
yeah.
go on.
yeah, how he made space in the box just to finish the chances that he did. I mean, of course, he scored a lot of different kinds of goals, a variety of goals. But what I always liked about him was whenever he does receive the ball in and around the box, he would find a way to create space and score from all kinds of angles. He was so
Yeah.
instinctive with playing with his back to goal, and because of his is it miniature frame? Is it really? I mean, he was quite stocky, but he was very well grounded, wasn't he? And because of that, I think it allowed him to sniff out any chances. He's I think that was the biggest attribute that I liked about him compared to someone like Lacazette. I thought Lacazette could replicate that, but he doesn't do it at anywhere near the consistency that Aguero did, and especially when it comes to just being absolutely clinical. Aguero, I mean, you couldn't go much farther than that. I mean, he was up there with the likes of Lewandowski and Ronaldo and Messi, and
Yeah.
so for me, Aguero, the way he just created space was just fantastic to see.
Yeah, so Albert, before I give you that question, when the season Aguero signed for City, the other thing I remember from that season is us getting smashed by 8 goals to 2. It was in the space of those 10 days where he scored 2 goals against Swans and we were smashed 8-2. So unfortunately, that's what I remember. So what has impressed you most about
We're trying to
Aguero?
forget that game. We're trying to forget that game, mate.
Yeah,
Bro.
yeah, 11 years later. Guy, which has been your favorite attribute for Aguero since he been at City?
Yeah, you know what is his low sense of gravity and just we're strikers always see how many he never seemed to take an extra touch, which makes a big difference when you've got to make them key decisions in the 18-yard area. He just some of his goals, and it wasn't just a box strike. I mean, some of his goals to score for City was insane outside the box. I don't know if he got too many headers. I can't remember too many in his career, but yeah, just lethal. That's the one word that comes to my mind when I think of Sergio Aguero, man. Anything from 18 yards out, defenders are in trouble, mate.
Yeah, right foot, left foot, all the same thing. And the scoring against big teams. I think he has like 10 goals against United, another like 8 against Chelsea, another like 11 against Arsenal or something. He also has goals against Liverpool, home and away.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He's won them titles. He's never won those accolades that Zoom is talking about being top scorer and player of the season and all that, but he's been really good. So these guys have said no to Aguero at Arsenal, so we'll just move swiftly to the next topic. No to Aguero. So we'll go straight into our game against Liverpool. A lot to talk about for Arsenal against Liverpool. Big game. Funny thing is the last 4 games, we've beaten them in 3 games, but the Arteta outers, as me and Zuhum know them, they'll tell you it was just the Carabao Cup, it was just the Community Shield, the league that already won the league, so they'll make excuses for all the 3 games. So first of all, I want to talk about Liverpool's season so far. So Albert, what have you made of their season so far? And do you think if it was us, for example, if we had such a major injury crisis, we would also be struggling like them? Or if City had, for example, De Bruyne and Diaz out, would they struggle like Liverpool?
Yeah, anyone would, because I think Liverpool did well to get to the point in the season where they had those injuries, but were still sort of within the top 2 of the Premier League. But it's caught up with them. I mean, I know a couple of Liverpool fans, and I think the thing is, Glenn, when you win a league title, you've got to. It's a case of can you strengthen the squad or team from a position of strength, which is key. What can you do to make things better? And I think the centre back issue was always staring Liverpool in the face. If Van Dijk got injured, what are they going to do? They know Gomez is injury prone. They know Matip is injury prone. So some people might say, who are not connected to Liverpool, is that they kind of not got what they deserve, but they should have looked at this particular era just in case, because it could come back and bite them, and it has. I mean, Thiago, I don't watch Liverpool loads, but from what I hear from their fans, they're saying that he's not utilised in the way that is going to get the best out of him. He's trying to do. They've got him sort of doing things or trying to do things that he doesn't do. Like, I've never seen Thiago tackle in my life, if I'm being honest with you. Maybe did it at Bayern Munich, but I haven't seen it at Liverpool. But they're not utilising him in the right way. That's the first thing. So if you'd ask any Liverpool fan after winning the league title after 29, 30 games, you're going to be in 7th and 4-5 points off of the top 4. I think they would have laughed at you. But it is what it is this season. It's been a season that's been absolutely crazy. And unfortunately for them, the defensive issue has come back to bite them. And to add on top of that, before you come to think, I know when they sold Coutinho, they got the money to obviously go and get Van Dijk and get Alisson. But I always said, even as an Arsenal fan, they still miss that Coutinho type player, and I still think they do. Yes, they bought Naby Keita, but that hasn't really worked out for whatever reason. It hasn't worked out, but I think that's always been missing for Liverpool, even with the personnel that they signed in terms of their midfield.
Okay, so the funny thing is, I don't believe that Liverpool's defense has really affected them. I think the attack, the likes of Salah and Mane have missed
Good
dozens
point.
of chances. So I don't think, apart from the Villa game where they lost 7-1, and Van Dijk was playing in that game 7-2,
Mhm.
all of them played in that game. After that, they've never really like been trashed. Apart from maybe Leicester where Alisson made mistakes, they've never really been trashed. So their strikers are not taking their chances. So do you blame it on the injuries or do you blame it on the forward players?
It's a little bit of both and another third element as well. So I think you're
Yeah,
right. It's weird to think that Liverpool's front three don't take their chances. At the same time, Mo Salah is still the top scorer of the league. Weird.
yeah.
But at, I mean, they. I
Penalties.
think some of the games where they did create those chances, you'll find
Mm,
that they created too far, uh, too few and far in between. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. They were
yeah.
too few and far in between, and when the chances did come, there was no rhythm. Uh, and I think because of what Albert mentioned, Thiago, for example, when he gives them a different dynamic in attack, so they create different kinds of chances, different passages of play. But when they have someone like Gino Wijnaldum and Jordan Henderson and Fabinho, they're a lot more. How would I put it? They're a lot more heavy
Workman like.
metal.
Okay.
Yeah, heavy metal, the way workman like. They
Yeah,
they
yeah,
they
yeah. I know
get
what you
it
mean.
to the wings, cross it in. They take the half chances. They'd win the second ball. They'd counter press and win the ball and go back and score. But at the same time, I think the biggest issue for me with this Liverpool side this season has been the manager. And I'm not saying he should be sacked or anything, no.
Mm.
But I just think his lack of tactical flexibility has compounded the injury issue onto them even further. Because if you think about it, how many times have you seen
Go downstairs, go downstairs.
um, how many times have you seen Klopp use a back three? You know, to counter not having enough defenders or even good enough center backs or even the kind of center backs that they would need. For example, if they played a number of games with Jordan Henderson and Fabinho at the back, but having a back three and playing in a 5-2-3, for example, would have been very beneficial, not only because it reduces the physical stress that Fabinho and Jordan Henderson would have been under in positions that they're not used to, but also it would have helped someone like Rhys Williams, the young centre back who
Yeah,
runs a bit like Mertesacker. He's like Mertesacker with a ponytail. But it would have helped integrate him into the game a lot easier, and he would have helped in alleviating some of the pressure that they would have been under. And the thing is, they would have had fullbacks in the first place because, or rather, the fullbacks could have played as wingbacks, which they do anyway in the 4-3-3 that they play. So I just feel like he chopped and changed around 4-2-3-1, 4-5-1, and 4-3-3s, but it's not really worked out because the pressure was on the back four and it should have been a back five in certain games. So I think Jurgen Klopp has compounded the issues of the injuries and the chances that they missed, especially with the Thiago Alcantara signing, because he creates a different dynamic, like Albert said.
Wow, I'm starting to worry. Are you an Arsenal fan or Liverpool fan? You've been watching Liverpool a lot, haven't you? You've really studied them, haven't you? You've really
we can't
studied
miss
them.
that.
But yeah,
We can't
Just a
miss
little
them.
bit.
great knowledge, great knowledge on Liverpool. What about you, Al? But there's a time Liverpool fans are complaining about Mane starting games. They wanted him benched. They wanted Salah not to be subbed off. But he still gives good hugs, the manager. So what has been Liverpool's problem?
Um, like I said, I mean, from what I kind of hear from my Liverpool people that I know, like in terms of the
Mhm.
fullbacks, obviously Trent has not had a very good season at all. And that's culminated in him being not included in the last England setup. But they said Robertson's still playing okay, even though the defense as a unit has not been that fantastic. Recently, I think is it Nate Phillips at the back and Kabak have done okay, but I think we'll
Yeah.
give them a severe test tomorrow. And the strikers, you make a good point in sort of the when you touch on this subject. They haven't been firing, and I don't think there's any pressure on any of those guys. I mean, who's going to come in, for example? They know they're going to play every week. You've got Origi to come in. He's an impact player who doesn't get a lot of game time. I think the big problem with Liverpool for me is I've heard people say it. they've got a very, very good 11, I would say to 14 players. If you go deeper than that, you are kind of looking at thinking, have we got the players to come in to either come and play the way Klopp wants us to play, or have they got the quality as good as, a first 11 that's going to start? And I think there's question marks with that.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think what it's a very good point by Albert. Sorry, Glenn. If you compare the difference in quality between the first 11
Yeah.
and the squad players, there's a big gap. Compare that to Arsenal, for example. There's not that much of a gap in
Yeah.
terms of the squad players and the first 11, so they can push each other. And the thing is with Liverpool as well, the compatibility of those particular squad players, I don't think it's the most suitable. Because, for example, you look at Divock Origi, by the way, who's out injured this time out. Has he ever really looked like he could have pushed someone out of the first
Yeah.
team? No. But if you compare that to our situation, Pepe and Bukayo Saka, it's a lot closer for the in terms of the race for the starting 11. Martinelli, I don't know, Emil Smith Rowe or Aubameyang. It's a lot closer. Aubameyang, Lacazette, a lot closer. Xhaka, Danny Ceballos, the quality is a lot closer. So when there's that big gap in quality, I think it really affects how well you can chop and change and rotate the squad. So yeah, to be fair, I think they need to find a better way of recruiting squad players. Look at Takumi Minamino, for example, who was
Yeah.
supposed to come in and be the player that
That guy.
replaces maybe or pushes Roberto Firmino, right? But he's been sent out on loan because for a varied amount of reasons. But at the end of the day, he's just not that close yet to Roberto Firmino to even push him for the starting 11.
Yeah, thanks for the super chat. Okay, we are getting so close to signing Grealish. All the super chats are going to Arsenal's transfer funds to next season. So if Zohum chips in, Albert chips in, and Stan Kroenke chips in, we're going to get Grealish next season. So thanks for that. So another question on Liverpool, Albert. So this weekend, I think most of their players are fit apart from some of the defenders, obviously. So who are you most afraid of?
Mane always gives us a problem, to be honest, home or away. So he would be the immediate one, even though he's not been super fantastic this season. I would personally say, I think the fullback situation, I think both sets of teams is going to be key in the game. I know people talk about the midfield, but I think obviously we've got Tierney. I'm expecting probably Bellerin to start, but I prefer Cedric to come in. I think.
Yeah.
Again, give me 2 secs. Sorry.
No problem. So, Zoom, you want to take on?
Yeah. So I think Divock Origi, Keller, and Jordan Henderson, Van Dijk, Joe Gomez, and Joel Matip aren't available.
Yeah, lots of
But
injuries.
I mean, the rest, yeah, they have a lot of injuries, but they still have a very good midfield. I mean, Gino Wijnaldum, Thiago Alcantara. I think Fabinho is going to be available, and that's a huge plus for them. But the players I worry about the most are the fullbacks, like Albert said, because if they play well, Liverpool will play well. In my opinion, that's how it is with Liverpool. If Trent Alexander-Arnold and uh, Andy Robertson push us back and really contain us, then yeah, I think that's going to be a problem for us because Mo Salah and Mane. I mean, you can expect the quality to shine through, but I feel like they get a lot of support to create space for link up, for ball progression from their fullbacks. So if Andy Robertson connects with Mane the way they usually do, that's going to be a problem for us, and we're going to need to shut that down, not allow any crosses. And in the same way, on the opposite side, that would ring through as well. So I feel like Trent, and yeah, maybe Trent hasn't had a very good season, but a lot of players kind of turn up, don't they, in big games because of the occasion itself. So I think the fullbacks, despite not having as impressive seasons as they did last season, I still think it's going to be the fullbacks for me.
Albert, Mane, you said Mane?
So you're saying Glenn? Sorry, mate. Go on.
You said Mane? Anyone else?
Yeah, like I said, with the fullbacks, I think will be key. The midfield battle is going to be key in the sense of if Odegaard starts, for example. Obviously Fabinho is not playing at centre back now, so that to me is going to be another key battle. Can Odegaard get that pocket of space against the guy who's? I think Fabinho is an excellent footballer. Personally, I'd like to. I know Emery wanted him at Arsenal when Emery was here, but yeah, Odegaard's going to be key. Whether he's going to be able to get the space and time which he seems to make look easier manufacture against Fabinho in the midfield for Liverpool, that's going to be a very key battle. And like Zahu said, the fullbacks are going to be a key area as well. And it's going to in Liverpool. You know what? Like I said at the beginning of the stream, you know they're seventh place. They're 4/5 points off the top four. They need to come and win. So it's not a case of them being on the back foot. I don't think they play like that. Liverpool don't play like that anyway. But I'd be surprised if they don't come out first 20 minutes and try and put a stamp on the game. Because Arsenal, I think Arteta in the bigger games for Arsenal, we have set up better. And I expect that to be the case tomorrow, unless something horrible happens. But I'd expect Arsenal to set up pretty well against Liverpool tomorrow.
I'm surprised you guys picked those players so easily. Like for Liverpool, Mane has scored goals, so many goals against us since his days back in was it Southampton? Yeah, Southampton. Yeah. Salah has always scored goals against us since his days at Chelsea. I think that was the only goal he scored for Chelsea. It was against Arsenal as well. And then Jota, I think he scored against us for Wolves in their first season and also earlier on this season. And the worst of them all, Firmino. I think he has scored. I think he's like 4 goals away from equaling Kane's record against Arsenal. Like they've scored more goals than Drogba against Arsenal already. So I never look forward for me. There's a time, I'll try and get it on screen. There's a time he scored such a disrespectful goal against us. Firmino in one game, I think he scored a hat-trick. He didn't even look. He didn't even look. He didn't even look. Yeah, I think I have it now. He didn't even look. Like, that's how much disrespect he has for us. Like, he didn't even look, and he still scored the goal. So I hate playing against Firmino. He always.
I don't rate that, you know.
You don't?
I don't rate that no-look finish of his, man. I think it's crap. Honestly, look at the greats.
I think maybe it's a good camera shot, but I'm not sure if he was. I'm
not even taking the piss.
The guy did, then he looked up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even taking the piss. I think you know, when you see real Brazilian legends do no looks, they do no looks with finishes, with passing, like 40-yard pings. You know, Ronaldinho and them. Those are no looks. David Luiz did one. I don't know if you guys ever noticed in the last 3 games or so. They did a no-look cross-field pass. Did you guys see that?
Oh, I don't remember.
I can't remember which
Luiz does a lot. Luiz does a lot.
Yeah,
Luiz does a lot.
That's more challenging than a no-look finish into an empty net. I mean, what are you saying?
So clearly he wasn't impressed. He wasn't impressed by that. What about dribbling past 6 or 7 of our defenders and leaving them on the floor? How about that?
I remember that goal. We didn't put a tackle on him. We didn't exactly do any fantastic skills. That we let him walk the ball in the net.
Exactly. And it wasn't 6 or 7. It was like 3, man. Stop overreacting. It was Socrates, Mustafi, and probably Xhaka.
Yeah, you're funny, man.
It's so funny, Zoom. It was not 8 or 9. It was just like 7. Okay, just like 7.
It was like 3.
Yeah, still very, very bad. So a couple of more questions on the game before I let you guys go. So Albert, we have such a good record against them at home, especially at the Emirates. I think they've only beaten us twice at the Emirates. But in the last 10 years, they've trashed us like 6 times at Anfield. So how do you usually look at that? What's the reason for us playing so well against them at home and never winning away? How do you point that to?
Yeah, the away thing ties in with our record against all of the top 6 sides. It's not been very good.
Yeah,
we only put that right this season against Manchester United because that was an horrendous record. So listen, I can't even off the top of my head. I don't know if anyone in the chat or Glenn, the last time we won at Anfield, but no, I don't know what it is. I think I would only assume when we're the home team, the onus is on us to come out on the front foot. Irrespective of whoever you're playing against, you're at home. You can talk about the fans, and I actually do think that has affected more teams than others at both ends of the table. For example, Sheffield United, for me, they've absolutely missed their fans. That's like a 12th man for them. I think that has affected Liverpool at home because you don't have that home record you have at Anfield and then lose it like the way they've lost it. But yeah, with Arsenal, I just think we're at home. We should be on the front foot, which is something I've had an issue with Arsenal this season because I don't think in a lot of the games they have been. There's been very few games it's been like that, to be honest with you. I mean, what, Chelsea at home, Leeds at home, probably. Other than that, I'm scratching my head to say what games have we really turned up at home, and there hasn't been many, to be honest. I was in Tottenham obviously recently, but yeah, I think that's the only thing I can put it down to. Again, I just think that the bigger the game is, we should be, not that it could be, we should be starting on the front foot, and we should be starting better against the bigger sides. Which Arteta, to be fair, since he's come into Arsenal, has got us playing better against the bigger sides.
Yeah, so I'll give you guys the all-time record. Liverpool are one of the teams that have a better record than us in terms of all-time record. I think them and United are like the two of the teams that have a better record against us, like since football started. So Liverpool have 90 wins against us. We've won 81 games and there've been 61 draws. So in games between Arsenal and Liverpool, there's been 166 goals, the most in Premier League history in any fixture. It's always full of goals. And funny enough, that the other two fixtures in the top three are Arsenal against Everton and Arsenal against Tottenham. So Arsenal always involved in some classic games. So I want to give you the first question on this one. Which fixture do you usually remember the most between Arsenal and Liverpool? For you, what's the best fixture?
Was it the 6-2 with Julio Baptista?
6-3, yeah, 2007. Yeah. Wow, that was a long time ago. Yeah, 4 goals. That's the one.
There is that one, and then there is that one, and then there is the Champions League quarterfinal, I think, with Dirk Kuyt getting a penalty that shouldn't have been awarded. That one really stings, because I believe we had the squad that season to really push on for the Champions League. Remember, we were denied a penalty when Kuyt fouled Hleb, but then Kolo Toure was conceded that penalty, which was the exact same foul on the other end. So it was really annoying. There is one I remember quite very distinctly, which was Emmanuel Eboué giving away a penalty at the Emirates to Dirk Kuyt, just barging into him towards the end of the game. Very frustrating.
The whistle should have gone before that, though. Like, that was so unfair. That was like 2 minutes past the time. Yeah, I remember that very well as well. A lot of games, Arsenal and Liverpool games that come into mind.
Yeah, but then at the end of the day, the one I remember the most, and maybe it didn't end in a win, was the 4-4. I couldn't believe it. I was watching that game with my younger brothers in Saudi Arabia, and everybody had gone to sleep, so it was just us. Yeah. And it was just goal after goal after goal. And then when you heard the commentator, Arshavin makes it 4. I mean, what an amazing goal. What an amazing run by Theo Walcott. It was amazing. It was just an amazing game. It felt like a win, that it was that kind of game.
Yeah, very good memories for Arsenal and Liverpool. It's good you mentioned the Champions League game. I did the whole video on Arsenal's Champions League cast. So I went to watch that game, Arsenal and Liverpool, where Adebayo scored that goal from Walcott's good run. That game, we should have won such games. That's why I always wonder why we've never won the Champions League. We were so unlucky so many times, but yeah. Albert, I'll come to you. Let me pick my 2 games. I'll try and pick the ones that you probably won't pick. So the one that people don't remember is 2014, Arsenal against Liverpool. You'd see the legend Sanogo on screen. We beat them, I think it was in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. And then we went on to win the FA Cup that season, obviously, against Hull in the final. That was one important game because that season, Liverpool were fighting for the Premier League title. Let's not forget. So they're almost beating City to the title. So beating them in the FA Cup was quite good. And obviously, the next fixture was Arsenal against Liverpool. Invincible season. They were leading 2-1 at halftime, and Henry came back in the second half, got his hat-trick. We won 4-2. That's the one I absolutely remember as well. Albert, any Arsenal-Liverpool games do you remember? Premier League era?
Oh god, there was one I can't remember. Yeah, it was Ramsey scored a brilliant goal. It's a home game actually. But the one that sticks out in my mind was the 3-3. That was 4 years ago at the Emirates. That was a brilliant game, man.
Ozil, Lacazette.
Yeah, Sanchez.
Yeah.
I think Sanchez, Saka, and Özil scored. Yeah, that was a brilliant game, man. Superb game. Because the thing is, and obviously you guys mentioned already the 4-4. I mean, I know that was at Anfield, but I mean to score 4 goals away from home and not win,
No, not true.
it still puzzles me to this day, man. If I'm a player and I score 4 goals in the game at Anfield and I don't win, something's not right, man. I just that would kind of burn me a little bit. But yeah, those are the games that stick out for me. The 3-3 4 years ago, and then the 4-4 obviously quite a few years ago with our Sharvin. But yeah, that 3-3 game was outstanding at the Emirates, man.
It's so many games, by the way. Like there was another 3-3 at Anfield as well. There was last season, I think, Carabao Cup 5-5 penalties. Like so many games in this fixture, so many that you remember. What about the worst ones, though? Yeah, he still lost. So can you remember the worst memory of Liverpool Arsenal? Which game hurt the most? Usually the ones at Anfield.
Yeah, the ones where Mikel Arteta was even a player at the time. I think we were wearing the purple and black jersey, away jersey that we had, Santi Cazorla's first season. No, second.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'm confusing it. But I think we lost 5-1, and we should have been pushing for the league. And then suddenly
we were top of the table.
Every conversation. Yeah, we were out of every conversation by the end of that month, which is our traditional February. So it was that one really, really stung. 5-1. I think Suarez and Sturridge were in and amongst the goals.
Yeah, we took a pound in that. Yeah, I remember that game very well.
Do you remember who scored for Arsenal?
I can't remember. And Rogers was Liverpool, wasn't he? That's when Liverpool would come out and first 20-30 minutes they just pummeled.
We scored a penalty. And the guy is Mikel Arteta. He scored our penalty. I'll never forget. He scored a penalty for Arteta scored for us in the second half. So I'm hoping it doesn't end that way. So Albert, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No, much for that. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I did have to go before the start of the stream, but no, much love to you two guys, man. Yeah. Always great to share the platform, you two, and definitely again, man, before the end of the season.
No problem, man. So
thank you so much,
me and Zuhom we'll cover the starting lineup and then finish up. So Arsenal, Liverpool, Zuhom. We've just had the news that Saka and Smith Rowe could make this game. And Luiz and Xhaka could miss out. Luiz is definitely going to miss out. But for Xhaka, it's like a 50-50. So let me know what you do with them, the first two first, Saka and Smith Rowe. Would you just save them for the Europa League?
I would, yeah. I wouldn't take any risks. This is not a crucial game for us at the end of the day. And I think we have Europa League, if I'm not mistaken, we have that on this coming Thursday, right?
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
Have it on
so
Thursday. Very, very
Emil Smith Rowe, Saka, if there's a risk of them getting injured again, then rest them, because we have options. We have Pepe, we have Willian, Martinelli, Aubameyang can play off the left. You know what I mean? So we have a lot of options. Even at the centre back positions, we have Rob Holding, who might try and replicate the performance that he had against Mane last season at the Emirates. The way he defended against him, and they had that personal battle, that was really impressive. But we have options. I mean, if it's not Rob Holding, we have Gabriel, we have Pablo Mari. So I think we're all right in that department. But Xhaka, I know I'm a big critic of Xhaka, but if he's a risk to get injured again, we're going to need him in the Europa League. He's our best partner for Thomas Partey. So I wouldn't take a risk on him. Yes, the three players I wouldn't take a risk on would be
Ceballos or El Neni.
Okay. I think I'd go El Neni. El Neni had a good performance against Liverpool. Yeah, but El Neni doesn't make anywhere near as many mistakes as Dani Ceballos. He could just have a very underwhelming game. That's the problem with El Neni. But I think just like Aubameyang, just like some of these other players, like Mo Salah himself, he had a good international break and he would be full of confidence. So this would be a good time to bank on that.
So holding for Luis and El Neni for Shaka. That's interesting. Let me know in the chat who you'd bring in. And Lacazette and Aubameyang on last one on them. Who would you start up front? Or would you start both of them? Lacazette has a very good record against Liverpool.
Yeah, he does, but he also has that big miss that he had the early stages of the
Misses.
season.
Yeah.
Misses, yeah. I'd go with Aubameyang. He's still our most clinical striker. Yeah, he can be a bit uh, he can be a bit of a passenger in some of these games, but I think now we have the right setup to use him well. I think him being used on the left or on the right versus West Ham didn't work out, and yeah, we should just put him on top up top rather, because Liverpool are likely to try and dominate the game, and I think we're a lot braver in the way that we play. We try and have periods in the game where we keep the ball for long periods of the game. So I think Aubameyang should be up top, and then hopefully Martin Odegaard starts behind him, and then we should be all right.
Yeah, probably go. I agree with that. But I don't know. El Neni, maybe if you're trying to go all defensive and stuff, I'll probably go with him. I'd start Aubameyang and Lacazette, both of them, and Odegaard and Pepe. So that would be my starting lineup. So last one, prediction for the game. So how many goal scorers?
I'm gonna go with a narrow 2-1 win with Lacazette and the centre back scoring. One of our centre backs, maybe Gabriel.
Gabriel's definitely not holding, man. It's been long since Holding scored a goal. He always shoots off target for some reason. I can only see a draw in
Yeah.
this game, man. I can only see a draw. Last time out against West
Really?
Ham, we came from behind 3-3. A lot of goals in this game. I can see more than 3 goals. I can definitely see more than 3 goals. Mane and Salah, and same with Aubameyang and Lacazette, a lot of criticism this season, but for some reason, up there, I think in the top 6 goal scorers, Lacazette is there, Salah is there. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, and I'm going to go for Aubameyang and Lacazette to score. And for Liverpool, Zoe? Who'll score for Liverpool?
I think I said 2-1. Most likely Mo Salah a penalty.
Giving away a penalty again, man. I don't like that. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with the match reaction after the game and a few fun comes with Liverpool fans. So Zoom, where can they follow you?
Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on IG the same way it's written down there at Zoom. And yeah, man, we follow back. We talk football. We make fun of other Arsenal fans and defend our own. So yeah, man, check me out on IG and Twitter.
Thank you very much. By the way, I have a different channel called Everything Football where I talk about every other thing, FPL and other teams and all that. So I decided to move those things from this channel to that. So I think the link is in the description. Make sure you go and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Zoom for coming on. Shout out to Albert for coming on. That was your 49 Invincibles podcast. We'll be back again next week. Let's hope we win the game this weekend. Let's hope we win the Europa League game. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.